Let's be real. Many guys want to know the secret to making a woman deeply invested in them, even obsessed. Some call it game, some call it charm. But let's call it what it really is. A mix of psychology, confidence, and knowing what truly draws people in. Most men think it's about looks or flashy gestures, but that's just scratching the surface. Women, like anyone, are drawn to a certain energy, a certain attitude that stands out. What makes this powerful is that it's not about putting on an act. It's about understanding and channeling genuine traits that create a magnetic attraction. Here's a hard truth many overlook. You can't just walk up and make anyone obsessed with you. Real attraction happens when there's something intriguing, something deeper that draws someone in. The biggest mistake guys make is over-investing, showing too much interest too soon. That kind of intensity can actually push people away. What's interesting? It's not about changing who you are. It's about knowing how to trigger a sense of mystery and intrigue that makes her want to know more. That curiosity, when sparked just right, can be incredibly powerful. Another thing to know is that women value confidence and self-assurance, but that doesn't mean arrogance. True confidence is about security and self-respect, not about making everything a performance. When a guy can show he's comfortable in his own skin, it draws people in naturally. Think about it. Who isn't intrigued by someone who radiates calm, genuine confidence without trying too hard? That's the real key here. Now, there's a fine line between healthy attraction and something that borders on manipulation. The goal isn't to deceive or play with emotions. It's about fostering a deep, meaningful connection that leaves a lasting impression. We'll be exploring some intense strategies, but remember, it's about balance. By understanding what genuinely captivates, you'll not only build attraction, but respect and authenticity in your connections. In this video, we'll break down 5 core principles that can build a deep, almost obsessive attraction when used thoughtfully. This isn't about tricks. It's about understanding and using human connection in a powerful way. 1. The power of mystery. One of the most intriguing qualities a person can have is mystery. It's human nature to be curious, and when we sense that someone has layers we don't fully understand, we naturally want to explore further. This concept is incredibly powerful when it comes to attraction. When you reveal everything about yourself right away, it can kill the curiosity and anticipation that fuel a person's interest. Instead, by keeping certain things to yourself, you allow her to wonder, to speculate, and to invest in getting to know you. Mystery isn't about hiding who you are, but about pacing what you reveal. For instance, if she asks about your past, share enough to be genuine, but don't give every detail right away. Instead of telling her your entire life story, you might choose a single interesting story that gives her a glimpse into your world without fully letting her in. This leaves her wondering what other stories you might have, creating a kind of mental tension that makes her want to dig deeper. A practical example. Imagine you're talking to her about a recent trip you took. Instead of going into detail about every experience you had, you could mention one unique encounter, like a hike you did in a remote area where you had an unexpected adventure. Share the excitement, but don't rush to fill in every detail of that experience. Let her ask questions if she's interested. This way, she's actively engaging, and her curiosity is building rather than feeling like she's passively listening to a monologue. The goal is to balance openness with restraint. It's about giving just enough to spark her interest, then allowing her to approach you for more. People enjoy the chase, and by not laying out all your cards at once, you create an allure that makes the conversation feel more like a discovery than a lecture. She'll find herself replaying your stories, intrigued by the things she still doesn't know. And that's where mystery works its magic. Because she'll remember you as someone unique and interesting, someone who she still wants to understand. By practicing the art of mystery, you're giving her a reason to come back, to wonder about the parts of you she hasn't yet uncovered. This subtle yet powerful technique draws people in naturally, leading them to invest their own curiosity and energy in the connection. 2. Confidence without overdoing it. Confidence, especially when it's unshaken by the need for external approval, is incredibly attractive. People are naturally drawn to someone who believes in themselves and doesn't constantly seek validation. When a man is confident without desperately needing affirmation from others, it sends a powerful message. He's comfortable with himself, and his self-worth isn't dependent on someone else's opinions. True confidence isn't arrogance. It's not about showing off or boasting. Rather, it's a quiet, steady assurance in who you are. You can express this by being honest in conversations, even if you don't agree with someone, or by not feeling pressured to prove yourself. When you communicate that you're comfortable with your own thoughts, values, and interests, it establishes you as someone who respects themselves. This resonates deeply with others and shows them they can rely on you to be genuine, rather than swayed by every opinion. A common pitfall is feeling the need to impress or be liked. But confidence means being at ease with whatever response you get. If you express your opinion or your interests and she doesn't agree, that's okay. You don't need to mold yourself to win her over. For instance, if you're passionate about something unique, like a particular hobby or career choice, speak about it naturally without seeking her approval. By staying true to yourself, you're actually more memorable than if you'd changed to fit her expectations. A simple yet practical example of confidence in action. Imagine you're at dinner and there's a lull in the conversation. Instead of rushing to fill the silence because you fear it's awkward, simply let it be. Relax, stay present, and don't overthink it. In doing so, you convey that you're comfortable in your own skin and that you don't need constant conversation or approval to feel validated. Often, the person with the confidence to embrace silence and maintain eye contact is the one remembered most. When you don't crave validation, you stand out because your confidence is grounded. People are drawn to you not because you're trying to get their attention, but because you're focused, sincere, and true to yourself. This kind of confidence creates a powerful presence that's hard to ignore, making you someone she feels is stable and secure. 3. Challenge her expectations. This is about breaking the mold and keeping the connection dynamic. Many relationships can fall into patterns, which may seem comfortable but often end up feeling stagnant. When things become predictable, excitement fades and routine takes over. But by challenging her expectations, you're keeping things interesting. You're reminding her that there's always more to discover and that you're a person with layers, ambitions, and surprises. Being unpredictable doesn't mean being erratic or inconsistent. It's more about staying spontaneous and authentic. When you make small, unexpected moves, like planning a surprise date night, showing a new side of yourself, or even initiating a deep conversation, it creates a sense of intrigue. She'll be reminded that there's always something more to learn and explore in the relationship. When she doesn't know what to expect, she stays curious, and that curiosity fuels deeper attraction. This doesn't just apply to gestures or plans, but also to how you engage with her emotionally and intellectually. Consider the impact of a well-timed shift in conversation or bringing up a new idea, ambition, or perspective. When you let her see different sides of you, she sees the depth in your character. She realizes there's a lot more to understand about who you are. Being unpredictable in this way means you're not static. You're growing, learning, and challenging yourself, and she'll naturally be drawn to that energy. A relationship thrives when it evolves, and by staying fresh and a little mysterious, you're creating an environment that feels both stable and intriguing. Unpredictability also shows that you're not overly dependent on her response. Instead of acting to fit her expectations, you're living authentically, keeping the focus on who you are and what you bring to the table. This level of self-assuredness is compelling. It's not about playing games, but about being true to yourself and unafraid to introduce new ideas, new activities, or even new discussions. When you're comfortable challenging expectations, it communicates confidence and depth, qualities that keep her engaged and invested in the relationship. The core of challenging her expectations is staying real, growing, and not being afraid to surprise her. She'll stay intrigued because there's always something new, something authentic that doesn't fit into a predictable pattern. In relationships, it's easy to get comfortable, but by challenging her expectations in a healthy, genuine way, you're giving her a reason to stay interested and connected. It's a powerful way to remind her that life with you is full of possibilities, growth, and excitement. 4. Build emotional independence. This is crucial but often overlooked. Many men don't realize that an over-reliance on validation from a woman can actually drive her away. Too often, men enter relationships with a mindset that she should complete them or be the answer to their happiness. This approach places an enormous burden on her and shifts the relationship into an unhealthy balance. Women can sense when a man's entire sense of self-worth is tied to her response or attention, and it can come across as needy, which is the exact opposite of attractive. Emotional independence means being fulfilled and centered without needing her constant reassurance. It's about being comfortable in your own skin and having a life that's rich, fulfilling, and balanced outside of the relationship. When a man lacks this independence, he tends to place the responsibility for his happiness on her, which can quickly feel like pressure. To truly connect with her, you have to be able to stand alone, have your own goals, passions, and sense of purpose. This isn't just about getting her attention. It's about being the kind of person who brings strength and stability to the relationship. Some men might think that constantly seeking her approval or adjusting their behavior to please her will make her happy, but this is far from the truth. Women are drawn to men who have their own compass, their own direction. If you're constantly looking to her to decide what's right or how to feel, you're essentially giving away your personal power. A woman wants a partner who can lead, who can inspire, and who doesn't need her to guide him in every decision or provide validation for every action. To attract her deeply, you need to establish your own foundation, independent of her. Men, wake up to the importance of this. Emotional independence doesn't mean being cold or detached. It means showing that you're solid on your own. When you're emotionally independent, you're able to give genuinely, because you're not looking to her to fill a void or to validate your worth. This strength is what makes a woman feel safe and secure with you. When she sees that you can thrive on your own, she knows that you're with her out of choice, not out of need. This empowers her to choose you in return, knowing that the relationship is built on a foundation of strength, not dependency. By focusing on your own growth, interests, and emotional health, you create an atmosphere that invites genuine connection. Women are drawn to men who know who they are and stand confidently in that truth. So, if you're constantly seeking her approval or need her attention to feel good about yourself, it's time to take a step back. Find fulfillment in your own life and let her be a part of that rather than the source. This shift will not only deepen her respect and attraction toward you, but will also bring more balance, strength, and authenticity into the relationship. 5. Being present. Then pulling back is a powerful approach in relationships, yet it's often misunderstood. It's not about playing mind games or manipulating her feelings. It's about creating balance. When you're fully present with a woman, giving her genuine attention and engaging in the moment, it builds trust and emotional connection. She feels valued, understood, and drawn to you because she sees that you're actively invested in her. Being present shows that you're a person who cares and is open to connecting on a real level. But here's the key. There's equal power in knowing when to step back, creating space that can reignite interest and intrigue. Think about it this way. If you're constantly present, never giving her a moment to breathe or miss you, there's no room for desire to grow. When you're always available, it can sometimes lead her to take your attention for granted. Just as in any pursuit, the thrill of anticipation can be as powerful as the experience itself. When you occasionally step back, you allow her the space to reflect on her own feelings, to process what it's like without you around all the time, and to notice the gap your absence creates. This balance of being fully engaged and then stepping back adds a dynamic rhythm to your connection, one that keeps her intrigued and invested. Pulling back doesn't mean becoming distant or unkind. It's about being purposeful with your time and attention. There's a difference between creating space and making her feel abandoned. The balance lies in letting her know that you care and are there for her, but you also have your own life, interests, and goals. When you're not constantly in her space, she sees a man who is fulfilled and engaged in his own life, someone with depth and self-assurance. This isn't about disappearing without explanation or causing confusion. Rather, it's the subtle art of being present enough to build connection and pulling back just enough to allow attraction to deepen. This push-pull dynamic isn't about games, but rather about understanding human nature. People are often drawn to what they cannot have fully, and in any relationship, space is needed for the other person to process and grow their feelings. By giving and withdrawing your attention, you create an ebb and flow that keeps the relationship alive. Just as importantly, this approach helps you maintain your sense of self, ensuring that your value doesn't get lost in constantly seeking her approval or affection. You're not filling every moment with attention, but allowing her to seek you out as well, fostering a balanced, mutual connection. So, the art of being present and then pulling back is truly about respect, for yourself and for her. You're acknowledging her desire for connection while also honoring your own independence. When done with intention, this dynamic cultivates a balanced, healthy attraction that has the power to build a deeper and more fulfilling relationship. It's a subtle but transformative shift, one that keeps you both engaged and connected without losing yourselves in the process. To wrap up, let's hit on one undeniable truth. The more you prioritize yourself and your own growth, the more she'll find herself drawn to you. Why? Because self-worth and independence are magnetic. Here's the controversial part. People are often more attracted to those who feel just a little out of reach. It's that element of mystery and self-assurance that keeps things interesting. If this has sparked something for you, comment below with your experiences or thoughts. I'd love to hear your take and connect with each of you. Let's start a real conversation. Thanks as always for watching. And until next time, this is Stoic Approach to Life.